Ylber and Donart's Great Forest Rescue. Ylber and Donart were brothers, and though they both had autism, they experienced the world in beautifully different ways. Ylber loved order. He found comfort in numbers, patterns, and the rhythm of his footsteps on the ground. He could count the petals on a flower in seconds and remember the exact sequence of stones along the riverbank. Donart, on the other hand, adored textures and sensations. He loved the crunch of dry leaves under his boots, the way tree bark felt beneath his fingers, and the deep rumbling sounds of distant thunder. While Ylber noticed details, Donart felt the world in waves of sound and touch. One quiet afternoon, while wandering near the edge of their village, the brothers discovered a narrow, winding path they had never seen before. The trees here were taller, their branches twisting in strange, elegant shapes, and the air smelled sweet, like ripe berries and fresh rain. Ylber immediately counted 7 different shades of green in the leaves above them, while Donart ran his hands along the moss-covered stones lining the path, giggling at the ticklish sensation. "We should go back," Ylber said softly, his fingers tapping a steady rhythm against his leg, a habit he had when he was nervous. But Donart was already stepping forward, his eyes wide with excitement. "Listen," he whispered. The wind carried a faint musical hum, as if the forest itself was singing. Ylber hesitated, but the forest did feel special. And so together the brothers ventured deeper into the whispering woods. The further they walked, the more the world around them seemed to shimmer. Tiny lights flickered between the trees, not fireflies, but something stranger, something alive. Suddenly, a small, high-pitched cry made them freeze. "Help! Please!" Ylber's sharp eyes spotted the source first, a tiny creature, no bigger than his hand, tangled in a silvery web. She had delicate, shimmering wings that fluttered weakly. Donart gasped and hurried forward, carefully peeling the sticky threads away. He was gentle, always gentle, and Ylber helped by counting the strands to make sure none were left behind. The moment she was free, the little creature zipped into the air with a joyful spin. "Oh, thank you, I'm Lumi," she said, her voice like wind chimes. "Why were you stuck?" Ylber asked. Lumi's glow dimmed. "The shadow haze is spreading. It's stealing the forest's colors and happiness." She fluttered closer. "You have to help us." Donart tilted his head. "How?" "Come." Lumi darted ahead, leading them deeper into the woods. The forest grew quieter as they walked. The usual rustling of animals, the chirping of birds, it all faded. Soon they reached a clearing where the grass was grey, the flowers drooped, and even the air felt heavy. A small furry creature lay curled on the ground, its once golden fur now dull and lifeless. "Merble," Lumi whispered sadly. The creature lifted its head weakly. The haze took the joy, took the colors. Ylber crouched down, studying the grey petals of a nearby flower. "It's like everything is fading." Donart pressed his hands against the earth. "It feels sad," he murmured. Lumi nodded. "The shadow haze feeds on sadness. It grows stronger when creatures forget happiness." Ylber frowned. "But how do we stop it?" Donart suddenly stood up. "We remind them." Ylber wasn't sure what his brother meant, but Donart was already moving. He began humming, a deep, soothing sound that vibrated through the ground. Ylber watched as the trees seemed to shiver in response. Then an idea struck him. He gathered smooth stones from the riverbank and arranged them in a perfect spiral, his favorite pattern. Lumi and other pixies, drawn by the sound and sight, began to sprinkle glowing dust over the stones. Something magical happened. Where Donart's voice touched, the grass shivered back to life, green spreading like ripples in a pond. Where Ylber's spiral lay, flowers burst into bloom, their petals bright and bold. The grey retreated, chased away by colour and sound. Merble sat up, his fur shimmering gold again. "It's working," Lumi cried. But the shadow haze wasn't gone yet. A thick, inky fog gathered at the edge of the clearing, hissing like a living thing. "It's fighting back," Ylber said, his hands trembling. Donart took a deep breath and hummed louder, deeper. Ylber joined in, this time not with numbers but with words, a story he remembered, about brave knights and kind dragons. The pixies danced, their laughter ringing like bells. The haze writhed, screeching, then, with a final burst of light, it shattered into nothing. The forest erupted in celebration. Flowers sang, trees swayed, and creatures of all shapes emerged from hiding, their colors restored. Merble bounced around Donart's feet, purring like a tiny thunderstorm, while Lumi spun joyful loops in the air. "You did it!" she cheered. "You saved the Whispering Woods!" Ylber smiled, watching the sunlight filter through the leaves in perfect, dappled patterns. Donart lay back in the soft grass, sighing happily as the wind played with his hair. As the brothers made their way home, the trees seemed to lean in, whispering their thanks. Ylber glanced back once. "Do you think we can visit again?" Donart grinned. "Yes. I like the humming trees." And so, with hearts full of wonder, the two brothers returned, knowing that the magic of the forest would always be waiting for them. The end.